Welcome back.
We
Giving
doing roll
everybody a
call?
few minutes and then we're gonna hello Ashley. Welcome. Shorty's plates. Welcome you guys. Awesome. So awesome to see you guys back this week. We on week 3 of the
Yes.
Love series. I am so excited. It's been really good. I just want to thank you all so much for continuing to join us and making this Love series an awesome success. So before we get started tonight, I just wanted to really just ask, if you have not already, please take the opportunity to follow us and share this live with your friends and family. Tonight we're talking about bringing the passion back, hashtag keeping it fresh. So it's a hot topic. So if you have friends and families that you think can benefit from this live tonight, please share that you're on with us and maybe they'll join us as well. We also, in case you did not know, we have a app. It's called the Holy Nation app. You can get it in your app store with tons and tons of resources and more great content to help you to continue to develop personally and in your relationships. So we encourage you to download the app as well. Tonight, I'm asking you to help us with the roll call, right? So after this live is over, please DM us at Holy Nation and make sure you just say that, hey, you were here, so that I can add your name to the $100 Massage Envy gift certificate giveaway. Okay, so make sure you DM me after the live is over and let me know that you were here. We're going to go ahead and start to get this conversation popping as people continue to join us tonight. But it's so interesting because tonight is truly a hot topic. And unfortunately, our guest that we thought would be joining us this week was not able to join us. However, based on the feedback and the comments that we have been getting from you guys for the last 2 weeks, we have decided to ask the questions that we were going to ask them to you guys and hear what you have to say about this topic. Of course, we'll be sharing our feedback and insight as well. But I figured, you know what, we've been having a great audience the last couple of weeks, and why not glean from your wisdom and experience. Now, if there's a married couple on here with us tonight that wants to jump in the hot seat, you are also very welcome to join us. If not, just leave your comments or answers to the questions in the comment section. All right? So without further ado, we're going to jump into this topic on bringing the passion back. So a little background on Pastor Gillany. We are Pastor Tony and Gil Restrepo, and we have been a couple for 30 years or better.
Oh.
Probably over 30 years now. Yes, I know we look young and fresh and everything, you know what I'm saying? But it's been a minute, y'all. And so we not new to the block. We've been around the block a few times. And so we have a lot of experience, of course, in our relationship, in our marriage, that we definitely want to share with you all tonight. But I just want to give y'all some background so you understand that after 30 years of being together, over 20 being married, you know, you go through some times where you have to put in some work to keep the passion going, right? And so we realize that, you know, as we talk to people all the time, we're realizing that a lot of people are really struggling in their marriage where the passion is concerned, right? Really working towards really just having those googly eyes for each other again, right? And so we wanted to jump in tonight and kind of share some things that we do and we believe help to keep it fresh, to keep the passion in your relationship. And we also want to pose these questions to you guys as well.
Yes.
So the first question that we have is, what are gender perspectives on passion? So we believe that, you know, women and men probably see this topic on passion very differently, right? Mm-hmm. And so what are some of you guys' perspective, whether you're male or female joining us tonight, what are some of your perspectives on passion? Hey, Tawan, yay, we're glad to see you tonight as well. Awesome. What are some of your guys' perspectives on passion? Let me hear from you.
Now, we want the gender, so we need to hear from the ladies and the gentlemen as well, okay?
Yes, bring it on.
So maybe
don't be shy.
Maybe we need to set it off.
So we'll start, yes.
Okay.
So for me, I think personally, passion is really about the connection, really about desire. You know what I mean? Like, I have this desire for you, for my relationship, to be with you. It's really about wanting it to be more as well. For me, I really believe that passion is more of an emotional and mental connection first, before it is a physical connection. And so, fortunately, we're gonna be real tonight, okay? So I hope y'all ready to keep it real and spicy. But honestly, for me, as long as we've been together and as much as we've gone through, I am very grateful that passion is something that God has kept very alive in our relationship. Yes. It's probably been one of the things that has kept us through the difficulties of our relationship. So we've had a very, really good connection where our passion is concerned. And so for me, those are the things that I think that make it the most, is really the emotional and mental connection, and the desire.
Amen.
Come on, y'all ain't talking to me this week. What? Now the cat got y'all tongue. I'm asking y'all about passion. Y'all like, I don't know.
Well, listen, when we talk about passion, we're not talking about that type of passion that a lot of people like to employ in their relationships. That passion that has them yelling and screaming at each other. and then turn around and say, I'm just a passionate person. Now, we're talking about bringing back the fire, keeping things fresh. Right. You want to keep your relationships fresh and anew. And so, for us, I think that one of the biggest things for me as a man, just knowing that my wife takes care of herself, right? And that helps to keep the passion, keep the flames ignited. So, one of the things I think for a lot of men, what we like is to really, to know that, our ladies are really, concerned about their well-being overall. And that's spiritually, emotionally, and just as importantly, physically. You know what I'm saying? Taking care of yourself is a hot ticket item, and I think that keeps the passion going, because when you take care of yourself, you seek to find different ways to do so, and I think that's what you need to do in a relationship, is to find new ways to do it. On with the 50 Shades of Passion. Come on now, you got a question mark after that?
I'm supposed to be hearing some comments for you. What do you ladies consider passion? What drives you? Exactly. Drives your passion? Gentlemen, what drives your passion? I thought that was really good that Gil shared, just really his desire, that how, for him, that is how the lady takes care of herself, right? Because I think sometimes guys might think that we don't consider that a part of what keeps things spicy and keeps things fresh, is that they also take care of themselves as well. And so we want to hear from you, ladies and gentlemen. What are your perspectives on passion? Seeing my lady's passion makes me passionate.
Come on now, bro.
Good.
That's it. So that's another thing. When you're dealing with a person that is very passionate. God spoke this to me a few months ago. He said that your passion brings power, that in your passion there is power. And it's the same thing in your relationship. In your passion, there is power to keep the flames ignited.
Yeah.
And so when your mate is passionate about something and you truly care about them and their passions, it does ignite something on the inside of you. Exactly. And it keeps the spark going. You know what I mean?
I love that. Tawan said passion is when you like when you like being in a person's company. For her, it isn't always sex. And that's what we're saying tonight too.
Absolutely.
Just like what Sam just said. I do believe that passion for your relationship comes out of your passion for life. So if you're like dry with your life, where you are, what things are, what is happening, you really don't have a passion in anything that you're doing, that's going to spill over into your relationship as well, right? Because you're not going to want, if you blah with everything else, you're going to be blah with him too, right? Or blah with her. And so I do believe that passion is not just something that you just, light a match to, but I do believe that it's just something that's in you that comes out of your purpose and out of a passion for life in general. Amen. And that really drives the relationship as well. That's why for me, I am a very passionate person. I'm passionate in my relationships. I'm passionate in my work. I'm passionate because I just believe in life, and I believe in the purpose of what God has given me to do. And that really excites me, and is passionate. And so for me, it doesn't make an issue here, because we mirror a lot of those passions. And I believe that helps us in our relationship as well. So I believe agreement in your relationship and where you're going in life has a lot to do with the passion that you will experience in your relationship.
Amen. And what we're seeing here is that, we fuel each other's passion, basically. If you boil it down to its lowest compound, to the foundation, it's really about fueling one another's passion. So as Casso said, he's passionate about seeing his lady's passion, So, there's a level of engagement in nurturing, and listen, we're not just talking about the confines of marriage. This is in relationships in general, relationships don't last where there's no passion. Where there's no desire, Exactly. They quickly dwindle and fall to the wayside. And so, it's about like Juan said, it's about having that desire to be in that person's company. You get so much from that person. They help you. They help you to grow. Yeah. And they maybe even challenge you. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, feel like a challenge in relationship is a bad thing, but actually it's not. You want to be challenged to be the best version of yourself that you could possibly be, and that's one of the things that keeps the passion in our relationship. My wife keeps me on my toes. She's my accountability partner. She's my friend. She's my lover. She's my everything. And so she keeps me on my toes. But just the fact that she challenges me in various areas, I know that it's out of her love for me, and it really truly makes me feel desired, cared for, and loved, and so it really keeps the passion there.
Amen. She said, "I'm living through you." Okay, wait. I think we got it. Wait, we got another one. Tawan said, "What's the difference between passion and drama?" Because I think some people don't know the difference. Yes, and that's so true. Earlier. That's true. Yeah, because again, passion, I think they say it's passion, but it's really just drama, right? Absolutely. Because it's coming from a negative place. Passion comes from, I believe, a place of love, and a place of excitement, and a place of life, right? So we have a passion for life. We have a passion for the things that we do. We have a passion for a person. That word passion is love. It's not, and love is not drama, right? That's the opposite of love. But what we do is we like to make the things that we are doing that we shouldn't be doing sound like something good, right? So we say, "I'm just passionate," when really when really I'm upset, angry, and being loud and boisterous with you, right? And not calling it what it is. But it's not. Passion is truly coming out of a place of love for your spouse, love for life in general. And when we have that love for ourselves, for life, it spills over into our relationship. I believe a lot of people are lacking passion in their relationship because they're just lacking passion for their own lives. Yes. When you're not happy, I've been there. When you're not happy with you, it's very hard to be happy with someone else.
Absolutely.
And then you try to, distract from your own unhappiness by looking at what they do or all the things that they're doing that you don't like, to say that that's the reason why you're unhappy and there's no passion. But the truth of the matter is that majority of the time that passion has to come from where you are with yourself and where you are with life.
Amen. Amen. So we want you to go ahead and continue to add your comments, ask your questions. We really want you to engage with us fully here. And so even in your own lives or in your own relationships, how do you keep the passion there? How do you keep things fresh? Can we get maybe a few comments as we begin to transition into the next question?
Yes. Tonight, y'all in the hot seat tonight. All those great comments y'all been giving us over the last several weeks, 2 weeks rather, has been really, really good. So we want to definitely hear from you. If you want to share your perspective on passion tonight, go ahead and drop it in the comment. What's your perspective?
Yes.
On passion?
How do you keep it fresh? How do you flame those embers to get the fires going?
So one of the things that we do,
she said, I keep it fresh.
With intention.
Yes. Amen.
That's good.
Amen. Being intentional. Is truly. I mean, because what is that saying? That's saying that I put some thought into what we have what we're dealing with here.
Yes. Not just that, being intentional about having deep conversations.
There you go.
That's really good, because that is key, right? To really keep the passion in your relationship, you have to stay connected.
Absolutely.
And that doesn't just happen. All of us, we're doing so many things. Like sometimes my days, I'm like, oh my gosh. So you do have to be intentional. You do have to make the time. You do have to set the expectation that we're going to connect. We're going to continually talk. We're going to make sure that our connection stays strong and our passion stays intact, so that we can continue to do this thing together, this life together, right?
Amen.
And so, yes, being intentional.
Akaso said, I like to do things that are spontaneous, but still show that I put thought into it. And let me tell you something, spontaneity with intent. That is so great. And I think that that's cool because, spontaneity keeps the spark there because it keeps you on your toes. But what you said about, you put some thought into it. You know what I'm saying? And we all have some desires, and even your significant other may have some desires that you never truly had as a desire. Maybe they like to go rock climbing or something like that, or maybe they like to take hikes in the and things of that nature. And that's maybe not your forte, but when you show a desire to do something that the other person is likes to do, then that really shows forth your level of intention and passion.
That's good. I love this one from Jones Got You. She says, doing a temperament check, a simple how are you. That is so good. And planning a date that involves my fiance's goals, something that I hear him speak of. That is so good, because and y'all kind of jumping ahead into some of the questions we have. But a great thing when it comes to keeping passion and keeping intimacy is listening, paying attention, being interested. You know what I mean? Like, I want to know how you're doing, or I want to know how your day is, or I do hear the things that you're saying to me enough to pay attention and then do something that is going to help you to obtain that or help you to do that. When someone knows that you really hear them and you're really interested in them, that is very exciting, right? Because now I am a priority. Now you are saying that I am important. And let me tell you, the thing about passion, we're talking about passion, right? And people usually think when they think passion, they think of just sexual intimacy. But all of the things that you guys are sharing and all of the things that we're talking about right now, those are the things that fuel that sexual intimacy. If the things that we're talking about now are not there before that, that's where it doesn't become truly an intimate and passionate interaction. Absolutely. It happens way before we get to that place, right? Mm-hmm. It happens way, on our day-to-day connection. So that is so
and I wanted
awesome.
to add a comment to that last statement, because passion, what we're seeing here is that passion is really not about self as much as it is about thinking about the other individual. So a lot of people get the lines blurred when it comes to passion and lust, right? So lust is something that is kind of self-centered, whereas we're talking about keeping the passion and keeping things fresh. And that last comment was so good, because it shows an intent to really engage the individual for where they are.
Yes.
And that's what kindles and keeps the passion going when it's not self-motivated.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so that's so good.
That is very good. And that is, honestly, I will give you a pat on the back for that, because that is really one of Pastor Gill's strengths, I'll be honest, is that he is very intentional about my needs and my wants, which definitely keeps the passion going. Amen. Right? I saw a question here that was really good. It says, what role does romance play in your relationship? Now, this one is really interesting to me, because I know for a lot of women, romance is a big ticket item. I'm not really that like mushy romantic type of girl. I'm really more about the day-to-day handling your business kind of girl. Like, I appreciate the things that Gil does every single day that shows me that he cares, that that he's thinking about me, that I'm a priority in his life, his family is a priority in his life. Those things really mean more to me than the flowers or the dinners. And we do those things, don't get me wrong, but the priority for me personally is definitely the day-to-day things. Because if you're not doing what you should be doing every day, and you bring me some flowers, I'm gonna have a problem with that. It is. So the flowers and all of those things, I do appreciate them, but I really appreciate more the the back rubs at night, and those type of things that really are things that I probably need or felt I needed, and I didn't have to communicate it, but he felt it and he did it. So those are the kind of things for me. We got some more. Let's see.
And then Naja added hers.
Oh, she got this. A flip side. This is for you, honey. Do men and the men on the line tonight, I want you to answer this question as well. Do men desire romance from their women?
So here's a good question. I was just reading an article just today, right? And it was so good because it really was dispelling some of the myths that are we currently believe about how men and women think about relationships, right? And so one of the things that it was saying is that that men are just as romantic, if not more, than women are nowadays. Oh, okay. And what it was saying is that men are more prone to believe in the concept of love at first sight than even women are.
Really?
And so, because things are changing now. I mean, right. Because, we were talking about the gender perspectives, and gender roles are changing. That's over the last maybe 2 decades. Gender roles have changed dramatically. Yeah. You have a lot of women CEOs. You look at our last presidential race. You have the first woman vice president. So now here's her husband in a row where his wife is the second most powerful woman in the nation. So because roles have kind of shifted and changed, I think that men do desire romance from their women.
So what does that look like?
Well, I think,
flowers?
I don't think it's necessarily as much about flowers.
I need to hear from y'all,
but the last person that made the comment about being intentional about dealing with their fiance's goals and making sure that they cater their interaction around it. I think that's awesome because it shows that you really care about what I care about.
Right.
And that is romance for a man.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That helps. I just wonder, like, are they looking for us to, like, bring them flowers home after work or run them a bubble bath? Like, what exactly is romance to a man.
I'll take
Major said in his 20s he never needed romance. Now in his 30s, it is a lot to be the romantic one.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want some share. You want some share in that responsibility.
Amen.
Tawan said, "I believe at love at first sight."
Come on, yes.
Pastor Gill, know he fell in love with me at first sight. That's a long story, y'all. We'll take that one another time. He said, Major said, I think it changes over time.
Yes, it does.
Okay. Just like your love language change over time. Sometimes they do.
That's right.
And that's a big part of romance, I think, too, is the love language part. And I think Pastor Gill is really good at knowing my love languages, and he really plays very well. Like, he does them really, really well. So I never really feel like I'm lacking anything. Thank you, Lord. So I'm not big on the flowers or any of those things because I get what I need on a daily basis. But for some women, I didn't hear from you women, for some women, it's a big deal. Like, they want to be, romance. They want the flowers. They want those things. Like, right. If that's you on here, let me hear you say, yeah. Let me hear you say, oh, yeah.
Right. And so really while we're waiting to hear from you, romance, it could take on various different looks, you know what I'm saying? It could be, like you said, going out and coming in with some roses, buying those little special things, but it can also be just the little small, like Pastor Tony said, the little small things that we do that show intent, that show that we're thinking about that person. And so I think that also what we have to keep in mind too is that as you grow in the relationship, just as Major said, things, your priorities sometimes, your desires, the things that you like, sometimes they change as well. Right. And it's very key for us to be attentive to the ever-growing or changing needs of that significant other.
Yes. Casso said, Rocky for Life said, sometimes. Casso said, I'm not sure if I desire romance because I don't know what it really means for a man.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's something personal and why you got, and this is another reason, right? I'm glad we're talking this up.
You just answered that, LOL.
And so I think what's interesting too is that that's why you have to have communication in your relationship, right? Mm-hmm. Because just because they say men don't want romance and women do, right here, I just showed you that I'm not really big on those things. I'm more big on what you're doing every single day to show me that you love me and speak in my love language. So that's why communication is important. Yes. Because if you want flowers and you're not really saying that you want flowers, then you might not be getting any flowers. And then you like having this like resentment and this unmet expectation that now dwindles the passion in your relationship. Yes, and so you definitely want to be communicating. We have Ashley White joining, and she says everyone's love language is different, so communicating with your partner is key. Exactly.
That's what you said.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Major said, is there a difference between romance and intimacy? Absolutely. Yes. So we're talking about romance, and we're talking about, doing things that people would like or that we even think they would like. Because sometimes we just doing things that we think would be nice. We don't even really know if the person per se, especially if you're like new in the relationship. So it's really like whining, dining, doing things to make the other person feel flattered and loved and appreciated. Intimacy is a lot deeper. It's really more of the communication in your relationship and making sure that I'm not just doing these things because I think you want them, but I'm doing things that I know you desire and want because I've connected with you and we have we've communicated on what we really want in this relationship. Absolutely. And then from that place, take a little bit of romance with the intimacy, conversation intimacy and emotional intimacy, and it takes sexual intimacy to a whole nother place.
Absolutely.
And so I think that is really like the flow of it. And I think a lot of times we try to, in a lot of relationships, we just think because we're in a relationship and because we're married, we should just be, sexually intimate while we're lacking these things emotionally and maybe, things that we want romantically that we're not getting. And then it hinders our sexual intimacy.
Yes. And the truth be told, The actual act of sexual intercourse does not relate to intimacy.
Come on now.
Not at all. So intimacy, because intimacy is a deeper level of connection. Just think about the word itself, intimacy. You know, it speaks about a deeper level of connection. It speaks about connecting on almost, not almost, but literally on a spiritual level. Mm-hmm. And when you can connect on a spiritual level, your intimacy takes on a whole. Oh my goodness, I can't even begin to explain to you. It takes on a whole nother aspect. It heightens all your senses when you are spiritually connecting to your significant other, as opposed to this physical connection. Yeah. Physical connection doesn't take place for women. In a lot of cases for women, physical connection, intimacy starts way before, the actual act is about to take place. Right. What they say, foreplay for a woman can begin, with you,
Good morning.
Sowing the seed early in the morning. Absolutely. You have to sow that seed as soon as you get out of the bed. So, guys, come on, let me know what your thoughts are on intimacy, on the difference, rather, between romance and intimacy.
Listen, I'm laughing, right? Because Kasho got convinced now. Y'all done switched.
I do.
Y'all done switched him to the other side. He's like, I do desire romance.
Come on, bro.
I changed my mind.
Romance.
That is so funny. He got turned over to. What about Gil? I need some clarity, Rocky for Life, on that question. It probably was referring to something that we were talking about a little earlier. What is the difference between romance and love? This question is for anybody. All right, so y'all could answer this too. What's the difference between romance and love? I'm gonna give you what my thoughts are on that. I think a lot of times romance, and we'll see this a lot more in earlier, in the beginning of relationship, right? Because a lot of times it could be somewhat manipulative. I'm going to buy you flowers. I'm going to take you out to dinner. I'm going to wine and dine you. I'm going to say all the things you want to hear because really I'm trying to get something. I'm trying to get somewhere, right? With you. I believe love is a whole nother story because love is there and it remains whether you look good, whether you sound good, whether you smell. It remains the same no matter what, and it's about serving, it's about giving, and it's not so much about manipulation and what I'm going to get from you. And so, not to say that romance is bad in that sense, but a lot of times the motive behind romance is not just you, but me too, right? What is it going to do for me? Where love, that's the requirement for you giving back is removed. I am serving you. I am loving you because I love you. And it's not because I want to get something from you. And a lot of times, I'll be honest, brothers, I'm going to be real. I'm going to put it out there for the ladies. A lot of times you don't get what you want because it's so obvious. It's so obvious that you're doing what you're doing because you have an alternative motive, right? Or you want something else, And so, and that is a turnoff. That's how you put that's how you blow the passion out. Because if we know that what you're doing is really about you getting something, then it no longer becomes really special.
Right. And I think that one of the things that a lot of people do in the beginning of relationships is they kind of put everything out there, right? So the guy asks the woman everything that she likes, and then she goes about saying, and I think that you do yourself a disservice when you just put it all out there in the beginning. Right. What I'm saying is I think you should hold back on certain areas because it gives you an opportunity to learn, first of all, one another. Because your romance or your love is based on the interaction with that particular individual. And what that individual brings to the table could be different from what, your blanket statement on the things that you desire. That person could maybe open your eyes to some newer aspects to what you thought romance was, or even what you thought love was. So I think that, for ladies, don't always be so forthcoming with all the information just because the brother's asking. He's asking because he wants to know what is it going to take get to the next level, right?
What I need to do to get what I want.
Exactly. So
even if it's you, or even if it's a relationship, you know,
leave some things for allow time to do what it does, which is to naturally nurture and grow things.
Yes, I love this response by Naja Creates. It says, I feel like romance is the feel-good stuff, but intimacy doesn't always feel good, but it's necessary. Ooh. That is so good. Romance can be the fluff, right?
Yes.
But intimacy doesn't always feel good, but what it does is it draws you closer together than you ever were before. When we can really be truly intimate, again, intimacy, where I feel vulnerable with you, where I feel like I could just bear it all and I'm not going to be feeling judged or attacked about it, but you can hear me. That level of intimacy in a relationship will always take your passion and your sexual intimacy to a whole nother place.
That's right.
Period. And I believe that that's not, you really don't attain that kind of intimacy without there being spiritual connection. Because a lot of times what happens, it takes courage and it takes faith to be able to have that kind of openness with someone. And so it's easier to know that I can open up with you when I know that your heart is in the same place spiritually as my heart is. If I don't know that, then I don't feel safe to do it. And then that sometimes will cause a divide in the relationship because you're at two different places spiritually. And now I have a fear to be able to be vulnerable with you.
And you know what that looks like spiritually? It looks just as the Bible says that when man and women came together, they were naked and unashamed. And that's what real, true intimacy is. When you can be vulnerable on levels that you're not vulnerable with the average person. Yeah. When you can strip back the layers of yourself with that individual, but at the same time feel very comfortable and safe.
Yeah.
And that's what intimacy is. And we need to take that into consideration. Intimacy is creating a safe environment for that significant other, for that special person in your life. You're creating a safe place for them to fall, for all of maybe their failings, their shortcomings, whatever it may be. You want them to be able to strip back all the layers so that you get to the real, genuine person that is underneath. Yes. And in that way, there's areas that that Pastor Tony helped me heal. Because, we were able to get to a place of intimacy, of real intimacy, naked enough. She knows me like no one else knows me. Right. The only person that may know me as well is my mother. And of course, God knows me.
I don't even think she knows you that
And
well.
I don't think so. But so it's creating that place for that person to really feel safe.
And I believe that place is where you find true love, genuine love. Because until I am truly open and honest and bare with you, right, naked and unashamed, then you don't truly know me. So there's not that true intimacy there. And if you don't truly know me, then what are you loving? You're loving only the things that I choose to show you, right? But if I'm willing to show you even my downfalls or my insecurities and those things, and know that you are still there to love and to care for me through that, then it creates a true love connection.
Come on now.
But when both people are trying to protect themselves, hold their hearts back, I don't want to tell you nothing, I don't trust you, I don't, that, first of all, the passion in there is not, there's no passion there at all. Because there's no connection, right? For there to be a spark, you got to have a connection.
That's right.
Hashtag that, tweet it, whatever you guys say. If there's going to be a spark in your relationship, there has to be true connection. And where there's disconnection, there won't be any spark. It's a dead line.
Amen.
So we have to realize that.
Let's read Major's comment, and I want you to take an opportunity to make your statement again that you made at the top of the line about everyone that's joining.
Oh, okay.
So
he said, I feel like you can love someone but never be romantic. Romance can be given without feelings, right? Yeah, love is eternal. Exactly. Yeah, if you think about it, majority of the times when we are the most romantic is at times when we don't even really know the individual.
That's right.
Right? But we like what we see. And we like the possibilities that that might be with this person. And so we do these things to get those things. And I agree. You don't have to love someone to be romantic with them. Naj Creates, Sam gives a hand clap. And Naj Creates says, if romance is lacking, you'll know if the love is really there.
Come on now.
That's good.
Absolutely.
Then we have romance should come with love. Yes. That's right. That's true. That's when it's true. That's when it's sincere, right? And that's what I was saying, that when we know that you're romantic, like when Gil brings me flowers, he gives the best cards. Like that to me is romantic. When I know that he went to the store to get me a card, even more than the flowers, when I know he went to the store to get me a card and that card truly states really what I know our relationship has been about and what we've been through, and I know he took time. I know he went like this and like this and like this and like this, and he was not willing to stop looking until he found the right one.
Yes.
That is romance to me. Because what that said, look, you get a pat on your back. Great card yesterday. So, those are the things to me that, are genuine. When people do things for you that's romantic, it has to be genuine. And that's when the passion goes to a whole nother level. Naj Create says, sometimes people fall in love with what someone does for them. Come on now, the romantic stuff, and not who they truly are. Come on, y'all better come on through. Now we going
that mask on.
That is so good, because a lot of times we are doing those nice fluffy things to not go deep, to mask what's really there, right?
Absolutely.
And so that's why you have to be discerning. You can't you be grateful for the romantic things that are done, especially in the beginning of a relationship, even in a long-term relationship. But you can't allow that to overshadow the real connection and who that person is. So don't get all, smitten because someone's doing a whole bunch of great, nice things for you before you really get to know who that person is. Right. Is it enduring? One thing I know is that time is a revealer. So that person, can they do what they're doing year 1, year 2, year 5, year 10? That's what's going to tell you what you really have, right? And so I totally agree with that. That's really good. Naj Create says, my fiance's romantic gestures mean so much to me because I know he loves me. That's good. Amen. His romantic side didn't really show in the beginning. That's good. That's interesting too. Growth. But now he blows me away with his cute and thoughtful gestures. See that? And that's what I was saying, because in the beginning, it was about getting to know the person. Yes. Now that I know you, because how can you really be romantic if you don't really know the person?
Absolutely.
So you might bring me some flowers and I'm allergic to the, like, oh, great. Now you done brought me some chocolate. I'm allergic to the chocolate. So it's really about getting to know someone first so that your romantic gestures are sincere and accurate.
And that alludes to one of our questions, what role does communication play in intimacy?
Oh, everything.
And I think that's number one.
It.
Communication and intimacy. So you communicate. See, a lot of times we get so caught up in the mask that people put on. Like Naj Create says, we get caught up in the things that they're doing, that we never really get to know the individual, the person.
Right.
We don't. So, and then you get caught up in this deep relationship now, and now all of a sudden you're starting to find out dislikes and likes that you didn't know in the time when you were supposed to cultivate this open line of communication with one another, where you were discussing certain things about the various things that they like or don't like. Right. And it's important in intimacy because we can't just assume we know what the person likes.
Right.
And ladies and men, sometimes, we take for granted the fact that we haven't communicated specifically the things that we desire or we need. Yeah. And then, like you said earlier, then those unmet expectations begin to cause wedges in the relationship.
Absolutely. Perletta Hamilton says, intimacy is the root of relationship that leads to love.
Amen.
That is so good. Let's see. How about the act? This is Major Flies. How about the act of pursuing. I feel like women want men to pursue them in intimacy, seduction, and romance at all times. Do women feel like they should be doing the same?
Woo, come on, ladies.
That's a hot number right there.
Where the ladies at?
Exactly. I want to hear some responses on this. Do you feel like it's the man's job to do the pursuing, whether it's romantically, intimately, sexually, seduction? What's your thoughts on that? And I want to hear from the gents too. Do you think that that's the male's role only?
Well, I'll jump in and say, hey, for me, I don't think that is a men's role alone. Just like I was saying earlier, things have definitely changed over the last few decades concerning the myths about how men and women respond in relationships, or what their desires are for relationships. There was a survey that looked at what are the top factors for men in a relationship, or what are the top desires. And I think it was number 4 was the looks, appearance, right? Mm-hmm. And we figure appearance, but it was number 6 is almost neck and neck. You know what I'm saying? So where we think we differ, in a lot of things, we really have a lot of the same thoughts and desires when it comes to these certain things. What did Naj
Create said, I don't think women feel like they should because they haven't been conditioned to think that way.
Right.
But I definitely think both sides should pursue their partner.
Absolutely. Because what it does is it makes the other person feel desired.
Yes.
And that is a huge part of passion, intimacy, and
now.
All that good stuff.
Let me see. Simply Astonishing says, yes, women should do the same, but the men should do a little more.
Especially with my generation.
I can understand that. I can understand that, because there are some at this day and time. A lot of the younger gentlemen are not pursuing at all, and
right.
this is why, and it leads to what I was going to say. I definitely believe that as women we need to pursue our men, right? We need to pursue our husbands because, honey, we living in a day and time when if you don't pursue, somebody will.
Oh my
because the women we talking about, it's so funny, right? Because we got all these women that are married that are not wanting to pursue, but the single women are out here like vultures, pursuing all day long for whatever they see and they want. So to me, it's to keep your marriage safe. I've always been of this mindset. I've been in my relationship for 30 years. I've always been of this mindset. My husband is a man. He is going to see beautiful women in the street. There's beautiful people everywhere, right? So that's going to happen. But what he will not experience is that what he see outside, he will never say he don't have at home.
Absolutely.
That's just been my mindset. And so I do believe that it's important that you are constantly being to your husband what you desire him to be to you, because there is something called the enemy. And what he would love to do is to bring temptation into either person's life that is not getting what they desire out of the relationship. And I'm going to keep it 100 because it's real. And so this is why we need to be paying attention. Just because you got a ring on it, don't mean that, it's good now. I got him. We good. I ain't got to do nothing. I'm going to just look all crazy and be in here acting crazy and not even paying him no attention. Because that will be an open door for the enemy. Absolutely. In your marriage. So you do not want to do that.
That's good.
That is so funny. I have Soul Bruh say initially yes, but once the connection is made, both male and female should pursue equally. That's it. I'll give a round. That's the answer right there.
And ladies,
that's good.
The young lady made a comment, but I think that in this day and time, especially in this day and time, that stigma around ladies pursuing is I think it's kind of dwindling away. What do you have for that?
Tawad, Tawan said these foes are thirsty. She is so funny.
But I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing for women to pursue. You know what I'm saying? If it's done classy, you know
Absolutely.
what I mean? You just got to be classy, and I think there's sometimes some brothers can be a little. dim with the ball.
They're kind of scared.
They could be a little bit dim with the ball.
Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
And they want to know that, I do have a chance. I like what Joe 1469 says. Yes, it should come from both people. Everyone wants to feel desired, loved, and attracted. Absolutely. Yes. We do. We have all this men-women stuff, but there's so much about us that's alike than what's different. Honestly, everyone wants to be loved, everyone wants to be respected, everyone wants to feel desired, they want to feel special, and so I think it should always go both ways, in the relationship. I got Isom Tawan says, and it's so nasty. I leave someone's man, husband, boo, etc. alone. You're stealing. Exactly. But this is what's real. This is what's really happening out here, and I think that's why it's important for us to really be focused on our relationship, keeping the passion there, keeping our attention on our spouses, and not getting to the place where we're just like, whatever, he there, he gonna be there, right, and that's it. We have to keep it fresh. Keep it fresh. We have Ashley White says, once the relationship begins to grow, or even once the intentions with one another are clear, both should get to it. Come on now, Ashley. That's good. It. Preach. We got to preach the devil. I'm telling you, he there, he busy. But this is the thing. He can only steal, kill, and destroy where we let him.
Absolutely.
And that's the key.
We open the door.
A lot of times we don't want to take responsibility for the things that the enemy is doing in our lives, but we have the authority and we have the power. When we allow him into our thoughts, when we allow him into our actions, and we start to do things that are contrary to building the connection and building the intimacy in our relationships and doing the work. A lot of what we're sharing tonight is not easy, because there's difficult times. I think one of the most difficult times in our relationship where intimacy was concerned, especially, was when Naja was little. Like, having little kids, that is hard. You be tired. You're just tired. Like, I'm tired. I just want to go to sleep. Leave me alone. And so that is just a time in your relationship that sometimes it gets a little difficult, but then you just have to be more intentional. You can't just allow it to just go. You got to take a nap during the day with the kids, or, get a babysitter and plan those things out and make sure that you make the relationship a priority, because if not, you get to 30-something years, your kids are grown, you didn't make your relationship a priority, the passion is non-existent. You like two strangers in a house, and that's when you find out, or you see people getting divorces 30 years in, 40 years in, because they never kept the connection in their relationship. Or that's when you see relationships where someone else is stepping outside of their marriage because the intimacy was not made a priority in the home.
Right.
And so we don't want to open the door to the enemy in any way. Let me see here. We got Tawan saying yes, and I have to roll up on people and say he's married 2 times. All my friends' husbands and women get frisky. That is for you, the police. And then Naj Create says, that's why men should prioritize their spiritual health and be strong against that temptation.
Absolutely.
Come on through. Absolutely. Okay?
That is key.
Again, it comes back to that spiritual connection. It starts there. I for the life of me, I don't understand how people can have good relationship without being in a good spiritual space.
No, it's difficult.
It really comes from passion is love, and love is God. So for us to have love and passion in our relationship, we got to have God in our relationship. I'm gonna keep it 100. You have not experienced great, amazing sexual intimacy until you invite God in it.
Come on now.
I'm gonna tell you that right. I'm gonna just drop that one on you right there. Try it and see what happens. We got Proletta Hamilton says, treat others as you want to be treated. Tawan Isom says, why are the ones you don't want are never scared? You know what? You are such a cut up. Why the ones you want are never scared to holler at you.
Yeah, that's right.
Listen, because they got a lot of confidence. Confidence could be attractive too. Naja Create said women in relationships should be allowed to have their bad days, but never stop putting in effort and keeping yourself attractive. That's right. It. Of course, right. Everybody got their bad days. The brother be having their bad days too. Absolutely. You know, Gil and I, we made a pact. We made a pact that we would take care of ourselves for each other. I don't think that it's okay. I don't think it's okay for me to just be like, forget it. I don't care how I look. I got a man. I ain't looking for nobody out in these streets. That's not the attitude. And the same for him. And the reason why is it's beyond vanity. Everything that happens to me happens to him. And everything that happens to him happens to me. And so it's responsible and it's love to take care of yourself when you know that if I don't take care of myself, what the outcomes could be, and that this is not going to only affect my life, but it's going to affect the life of my spouse and my family. And so that's why, it's bigger than just a looks thing, but the looks help.
Amen. The looks help, but listen, gents. What I practice on a regular is I look for the attractive things in my wife constantly. So at the times when she's least expected, I disarm her all the time letting her know that she's beautiful to me. And really is you have to be able to see beyond the fluff, the external experiences, because I know who she is. And sometimes when I'm looking at her, I'm looking into her, and that's when I see the greatest beauty.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Couple points.
But that is so true. That is so true. He will disarm me many times. I'm thinking, oh my God, I look crazy. And he'll be like, oh, you're so beautiful. I'm thinking, your glass is clean. Something's not right. Major Fly says, as Pastor Gill mentioned, men first are pulled into the physical looks, gifts, sex, etc. But that doesn't negate the internal intimacy that is also needed. Exactly.
Yes. I found that out early in our relationship because, we were young. And so, when you're young, for me, the testosterone was fine. But I realized when we had moments where we weren't connected, it definitely affected the intimacy. Yeah. So we have to have a good connection between each other in order for our intimacy to be on the level that we truly desire it to be. So getting the passion back, keeping the flames burning, it's all about putting in the work, and it's all about, there
Rocky
you go.
For Life said doing the work. Y'all be on it. Y'all are on
doing the work. It's about doing the work. For everybody, it may be a little bit different. Your significant other may require different things, you know what I'm saying? But you know what? It's about being there in the good and the bad times. You know what I mean? Yeah. Intimacy is developed, especially in those difficult times. Yeah. When you're able to stay the course. And remember, intimacy and passion is about keeping in mind that I'm in this for the long haul. You can't have that short stay mentality. It's got to be about the long haul.
That's good. Rocky says she tells him all the time, and I'm thinking this goes back to having young kids and intimacy. She said he's never tired. No, he's never tired because he's not running behind a 4-year-old or 3-year-old, right? And so that's why it's important to communicate and be like, okay, listen, we need to plan this out, get a babysitter, do some things that will help, because that is probably the most taxing time on a woman where intimacy is controlled. I will. What we got? That's why they have date night. Exactly.
Absolutely. Ella Perlette, I'm glad you said that because I wanted to make sure that I threw that in there. And that is one of the key ways to keep things spiced up in your relationship. Date one another. A lot of times when you get into a relationship and you've been in a relationship for a while, you can just get into this lull where you fall into a rut where you're not taking the same approach to this individual as you did in the beginning.
Right.
Continue to date each other, do and experience new things together. When you do and experience new things together, it keeps the relationship charged.
Fire. Keeps it on fire. And that doesn't mean that you have to spend a lot to do it. I know sometimes couples may be in a place where they feel like financially they can't go here, they can't do this. You could do things in your house. Movie night, date night, come up, be creative. There's nothing like, I think Kasho said earlier, being spontaneous and giving a little thought of creativity to it at the same time. Naj Creates says, preach God, that Joe 1469 say, yes, both have to keep it healthy. Women like a 6-pack also. Okay, she said she went hard too. She said 6-pack. My requirement was just can we keep the stomach from going beyond the pecs?
Oh my God!
I didn't even put a 6-pack.
Love handles.
I didn't put a 6-pack on it. But I'm like, I'm gonna need you to not look, like you pregnant. That was just our agreement, okay? To each his own. To each his own. Can you get a date? We got any single gentlemen on here? Ice him to waters looking for a date. That is so funny. Oh my gosh. Listen, we just so appreciate you guys. I am so excited every time I get on here and have this opportunity to talk to you all. At the top of the hour, I shared that, I want you guys to please follow us if you haven't already followed us. Download the app. The app has a ton of resources and additional great content for helping you to live this amazing life God that has given you. In addition to that, listen, tonight, I need you to DM me if you were here. If you were here tonight, DM us. I'm here so that I can add you to the raffle for the $100 gift card to Massage Envy. I know y'all want to win that. Yes. So definitely, please do those things for me tonight, okay? As we are closing out tonight, I'm going to read these last couple of comments. Says, getting the man is okay, but keeping him, that is the challenge. Stop walking around in sweats and do and do-rags all the time. That is so funny. Yes. So happy for you too and thankful. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much. Please DM me so I can, because once this ends, I won't be able to see the feed anymore to see who was here. So please DM me. I really appreciate it. Can I win?
Who's that?
Naja Creates. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate all your comments. Yes. Listen, share this. It will be on our IGTV. Share this with your friends. Listen, we need to keep the passion going. Keep it fresh. Put in the work. Make the effort. Make your relationship a priority. I'm telling you, it is worth it. We love you all so much. Thank you for joining us. I am so excited about all the laughing emojis because we are laughing with you. Yes. We'll talk with you next week. Join us next week. We have another hot topic the last Monday of the month. We're going to be here with our special guest. We're talking about trash or treasure. Ooh. Should you keep your relationship or should you dispose of it? Is it time to end it? Whoa. That's what we're going to talk about next week. Be here. Don't forget, invite your friends, and we'll see you soon. We love you guys. Good night.
Good night, all.